What's going on, everybody? A PlayStation 5 demo here for you. Resident Evil 8, or if you want to call it Maiden, Resident Evil Village demo. This is more of a visual showcase. You will not see combat or anything else in this demo. From what I understand, I'm going to try to give you a quick overview as you see gameplay here. It's about 10 minutes of gameplay, so it's going to be a relatively short video because that's what we got here for this showcase. So from what I understand, from Resident Evil 7 events, if you haven't played that one, it's a decent game. It wasn't my cup of tea. Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 8 pretty much have a continuating storyline. And it brings back an old favorite in terms of Chris Redfield. He's got some involvement in this, as well as Ethan from the first game and the wife Mia. If you've seen some of the VR gameplay from Resident Evil 7 from before, with the axe and the way that she grabs them and killing her and all of that, the involvement of the Bakers, the situation that was involved with another virus strand making someone that just wants to have a family, all of that without spoiling all of the story too much. So this game is another continuation of that, but what you see right now is just the visual showcase. And immediately what it reminds you of, again, is the gameplay of Resident Evil 7, the first-person view and all of that. So without bagging on everything, and without bagging on myself completely, because I know a lot of you guys are going to do that, I am a Resident Evil fan through and through, but that doesn't mean I have to like every single aspect of where series history has been. So let me digress here. The 25th anniversary of Resident Evil is coming, and I didn't know this, but it actually falls on my birthday on March 22nd. It began in Japan March 22nd, 1996, so March 22nd, 2021 is the 25th anniversary. With that Capcom leak, we got more information on Village. Even though the showcase just hit a couple days ago, we got more information on that. We got more information on something called RE-Verse, which is some of your favorite characters from Resident Evil in a 6v6 deathmatch style, which seems really cool. So if you do buy Resident Evil Village, you will get RE-Verse for free. But there's certain instances where I don't like Resident Evil is going is as follows. Now, I am a fan of the first three games, the PlayStation games. Resident Evil, Director's Cut, DualShock, any of those variations, even though DualShock had horrible music. RE2 is a timeless classic. RE3, you needed a holdover game until Resident Evil Code Veronica on the Dreamcast, but Resident Evil 3 Nemesis was pretty cool. And Nemesis showed you some different things that you hadn't really seen before. But here is where we get into murky waters. And I know a lot of you are going to flame me for these upcoming takes here. Resident Evil 4 is a fantastic game. But also, it was one of those games that kind of showed you that the direction of Resident Evil was going to change forever. You got that over-the-shoulder action, not really worried about bullets. Yes, it brings in Leon Kennedy, but it was action, action, action all the time. And it was an incredible story, and there was some stuff that was scary to it, and it was still a good game on its own right. But you knew that with Resident Evil 4, it was going to change the face of the franchise forever. And in Resident Evil 5, a lot of you guys either really liked it or really hated it. I actually really liked it. It was one of those action-oriented games that was great to play co-op. And it was really wonderful. What I didn't like was Resident Evil 6. You say, oh, if you liked 5, you should have liked 6. Well, that was just a convoluted mess in terms of story, and the action sequences and everything else. It tried to be one of those blockbuster video, date myself, one of the smash blockbusters of the year if you go to the movie theater with all these QuickTime events and all this stupid bullshit that nobody wanted. That's what Resident Evil 6 was. And then in the midst of all of that, you get Resident Evil 7, a kind of return to form, but a first-person one at that. Yeah, there was some scary stuff in there with the Baker family and all that, like I mentioned, but it still wasn't my cup of tea. The game was a little harder than some of the other games. Yes, you could play on easy to kind of alleviate that, but then it also kind of ruins the complete experience. So this, more along the lines in Maiden and RE8, returns to the Resident Evil 7 style. Not the fantastic Resident Evil remake that's been ported several times over. Not the best game in the series, I would imagine, the Resident Evil 2 remake. The Resident Evil 3 reimagining, you can't call that a remake. That was just a bunch of cut content, even though it looked a lot nicer. A bunch of cut content that wasn't in the PlayStation version of the original game. So, my question to you is, if you didn't happen to like Resident Evil 7, are you going to like Resident Evil 8? This Maiden preview? Are you going to like Resident Evil 8 Village? Are you going to play it just because Chris Redfield is going to be in it? There's going to be a continuation of Ethan and Mia and all of that? What are your thoughts on it? Facebook.com/TBUGunslinger, Twitter @JohnRyanOtt. Well, I can tell you right now from playing this, there were a couple parts that, was nice with the audio and the footsteps and some of these other things. And I know the inventory system isn't going to be the same. It's probably going to be more along the lines of, Resident Evil 4 and moving things around and getting it to fit in there. But the lighting, the medieval aesthetic, some of the items that you pick up, some of these other things are pretty cool. This game really is gorgeous. And yes, I'm still playing on a 1080p television, even though I have a PlayStation 5, because, the 4K stuff and all of that, as we know, isn't quite ready. But this game certainly does look like a visual showcase, and that's what you're playing right now. But what are your thoughts in terms of it? Are you going to like this game? Village, Maiden, all that stuff, if you didn't really care for Resident Evil 7, or did you really love Resident Evil 7? You thought it was a return to form of the franchise itself. There's a couple other interesting things as far as rumored about what's upcoming. You're talking about a Silent Hill reboot. We talk about PT, and I think about that when I'm playing this game because, it seems like the first person and all of the showcase and stuff like that. That would have been awesome to see the Silent Hill reboot, and it seems like it might still happen. That might be upcoming. That's something I'm probably really looking forward to in terms of survival horror. In this game, even though it's going to be coming out in May sometime, I probably still will check it out. But because of Resident Evil 7 and the difficulty and some of those other things, I know the game was a little shorter. That's why I think it was made more difficult in terms of all that to get the replayability, because you're going to die a lot, especially from the beginning. I think this game might be one of those games that I end up playing on a little bit of easier difficulty because I know that's happening. But if you buy Village, you get RE-verse with the deathmatch and all that, so that seems pretty cool. So, if you do get your hands on a PlayStation 5, check out this demo, check out everything else that it entails, and let me know what you think, because it does look pretty damn cool. So as always, this visual showcase is a little short, so pretty much take your time, explore everything, and just take in the sights and sounds. I really tried to get the hell away from all that. I don't think you can. Just escape back into the door and use the courtyard key. Well, that's pretty much where the demo's going to end. I love the window effects there, too.
So we finally meet.
So there you go. That's Resident Evil Maiden Village teaser demo for the visual showcase. Facebook.com/TBUGunslinger, Twitter @JohnRyanOtt. As always, let me know what you think. If you have any Resident Evil questions and all of that, I'd be happy to talk about that. And if you haven't followed Kai Morgan, Ink Ribbon, Residents of Evil, Albert fucking Wesker, those guys on YouTube, check those guys out for more Resident Evil coverage and all of that. As always, have a good one, everybody. Peace out.